By the end of this video, you're gonna know why this project, Crypto Maze, has more potential than you think it does. So let's kick off and have a look. So Crypto Maze, when I first came across it, full disclosure, I thought it was just gonna be a terrible project because I hate the word crypto in a lot of projects and I hate the word meta, sort of like meta something in projects. So initially from the first word, I dismissed it. But once I actually kind of had a deeper look and had a talk to the founders, I was actually pleasantly surprised about what they want to do. Hey, hold up real quick. First up, I want to say that this is a very high level thought process. This is a less of an ABCD why you should kind of look at this project. And this is more of my thoughts and the like discoveries that I've made within this project. Also, scroll down there and hit up that like button. Okay, let's kick on. Now, my boy Champ actually hooked me up with the founders to have a chat to, but then also my boy NFT Pastor has also done an AMA with them. So at this point, I was like, okay, cool. They've obviously got something going for some of my peers to actually kind of take attention and take notice. So when it comes down to what this project is, the idea is you can essentially think about it as an MMO that is kind of going through a maze. And you can kind of see through this little preview here. The idea is that they want to hit the mobile gaming market, incorporate sort of NFTs within it for the kind of transactions when it comes down to items, skins, things like that. But the idea with the maze is it adds a little bit of a challenge to it, and I'll kind of expand on this a little bit later. So the Genesis collection, 3,333, low supply, I love that. And then they're called the Crypto Mites. So the idea is that these cool little characters, and they're kind of not super high poly, so they're low poly, so it kind of cute, and they lend themselves to kind of an easy game which is digestible by sort of younger kids, and you can kind of see the sort of character here. Now, the part that I want to get to isn't necessarily that, it comes down to the team. Now, we've got the team, we've got Neddy. Now, he is actually co-founder, but he's actually a game developer himself, and he's undertaking the role of the director. And I also spoke to sort of Alex here on the sort of initial call. So we spoke for about an hour and a half, just kind of going over some hard questions to kind of get the answers that I wanted to kind of get out of them. Now, what I want to touch on here is the reason why I think this project has some potential is the fact that Neddy here has actually made an MMORPG before. He made this himself, basically. So we can see here, Neddy Games. The idea is he made this himself, and you can actually kind of get a little bit of a preview of what the project looks like, his little promo. So the idea is the fact that he's created something before. So I think this comes back to people that kind of want to have a team that can execute. And the fact is, this guy has executed this by himself. So when we then get to a project that actually has some funding that can organize some people, he's in a really good position because Neddy is able to actually kind of be the game director because he's actually done it. He's not going to have sort of the wool pulled over his eyes metaphorically, because he's going to be able to kind of tell them what to do and actually execute this. Now, when it comes down to the socials, we can get an idea of where they're moving. They're 16,000 followers, and with the 3,333 mint, this is like a decent supply. Once this gets to around sort of 30,000 followers, it's going to be quite good. Now, you can also see here, this is what I mean by they're putting in a lot of effort. NFT Pastor, they made him, Pastor, a specific promo for a giveaway. The fact is, you've got one of these Crypto Mites in the kitchen cooking, because NFT Pastor's thing is his kind of like group is called The Kitchen. So they're spending a lot of time and effort making these promos. So they're actually getting like the guys to kind of do these. And this is just for a small little giveaway for a promo. That's why these guys are starting to move different. Now look, another side note, they're not just animating promos, they've also got some like gameplay. Now this isn't the full gameplay, this is just some of their testing so they can actually kind of see, and the idea is they've actually got sort of promos made. It's not like they're kind of going, hey, we want to raise some money so we can do something. The idea is they've actually got something to kind of show people, to show that they're actually working now, which just makes me feel a little bit better and more competent when it comes down to the team. So it's these little things that kind of add up to kind of moving forward. The fact that Neddy's done a game before and the team are kind of making these animated promos, and they've also got a little piece just like this. Now, before I actually jumped on the call, they also said, hey, check out the deck. And this is their pitch deck. So you can start to see the fact that they are actually putting together high quality marketing material, which also makes sense for the project. Now, I'm not going to bore you with what this actually is because I want to kind of summarize it for you, but this is just to show you the fact that they are trying to hit the mobile games market. They are talking to kind of companies, not just sort of peoples and degens like myself. They're actually talking to companies and using this pitch deck to kind of convey their value proposition. Now, I'm using words like companies, value proposition, things like that to actually show you the fact that they have thought this out and they're really well positioned within the market. Now, look, another thing that I want to touch on is the fact that they even gave me a press kit. The idea is that they share this with me. So some of the GIFs, some of the videos in here, they've actually given this to me. Now, what's actually crazy is they've got thumbnails for YouTube videos. What they've actually done is they've actually cut out these characters on a transparent background. So the thumbnail that you've seen has been using these images. These guys are very smart. They're positioned very well when it comes down to what they want to do with the project because they know exactly how people like me need to operate. They know that you need a press kit. They know that you need a pitch deck. They know how to move within this space, and that's what gets me really excited because this isn't just a bunch of kind of guys together with a pipe dream. These are some guys that have a goal and they're ready to execute on this hard. So look, now I kind of want to get down to what the basis of the game is and what the business model of the game is because I think this is where it gets very important. What they're actually doing is they're going to be selling the crypto mites. Now, with these crypto mites, you're going to be able to play the game, but this game will be free to play for everyone. The idea is that if you've got these crypto mites, you can go through these mazes, you can then defeat bosses. If you win, what you then end up doing is you then end up getting NFTs. Now, what I want to touch on is the fact that when I asked them what their business model is and why they're not selling NFT sort of skins themselves to kind of generate some revenue, what they want is they want all of the in-game assets to be played for, then sold on their secondary market within this ecosystem. So the idea is they want you to be able to play the game, find these NFTs, win these NFTs, then sell them on the marketplace. Now, what makes this very smart is the fact that they know that if they get as many people playing as possible, they know that some people are just going to play for free, but others will kind of win some skins, win some kind of loot boxes, win these things that they actually want within the game. They then sell them. What they then do is they're using their token, in-game token, and they're actually kind of skimming off the top there. Now, skimming off the top sounds a little bit bad, but the idea is what they're doing is they want to just run this game up, get as much volume through as possible, which then means they can then take a transaction, because if they're taking 1% of $1 million worth of kind of volume or transactions a day, they're making some heavy money. And that's how a game, a free game like Fortnite, can end up making a bunch of money because they've worked out how it actually works. And that's why it comes down to the fact that they've got mobile gaming in here. They understand that if a game can be doing $1 million worth of sort of transactions a day or a month or whatever, and they're taking a percentage of that, then that game's going to keep running in perpetuity, and that's how they'll actually run. Now, what's really smart about these guys is they're not just kind of making the game and this is it. They're also building out their layer 2. So the fact that they're building their own layer 2 with their token, what they're actually kind of doing is they want to kind of build their own launch pad or incubator per se. So the idea is that they can then get these additional like new projects, incubate them, launch them, and they will be using that token, which just adds more value to what they're actually building. So like this you would have come into the video going, cool, what's this game about? What's going to happen with it? But what I kind of want to touch on is the fact that this game isn't just about the game. Anyone can kind of really make a game, run some money up, run a game, but the guys behind this have this long-term plan and long-term thinking. Now, I know you would have come into this video wanting me to kind of just break down the simple basics about the game and why you should kind of get into it, but it goes deeper than that. It's the fact that these guys are trying to build something bigger than themselves, and they're trying to think 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line. The idea with this project, and this is actually something that I kind of put onto them, is I actually said, this feels more like a long-term metaverse play than a gameplay. And let me break it down for you. The idea is that with these mazes, once you've got your sort of crypto mite, you will be able to then get a maze. Once you've got a maze, that becomes your maze. You can then build that maze out, which means that you're then able to let other people run the maze. You can then take a tax on the sort of tokens and things that they get from it. And the idea is that eventually I can see this turning into a kind of a metaverse play where you've essentially got some land, which is your maze. multiplayer, PvP, all these types of things. And the fact is, you're going to have your own kind of plot, which comes down to a maze. And it's not just a maze that's kind of like a 2D maze. This can then be built out into kind of multiple levels, bigger things like that. So for me, once I kind of really got down to it and asked them, it seemed like they were going for less of just a game and kind of run up a simple game and kind of build it and then take some cash on the back end, but it feels like they're actually trying to build something that is truly free to play to then compete with some of the big players within the space, but then also have this NFT injection, which means that they can then monetize the in-game currency and transactions, but then roll that on to become almost like a metaverse play. And this is where I was like, okay guys, I can see exactly where you're going. And the thing is, when we were talking, we spoke for an hour and a half, we were vibing, we were kind of, I think we were able to come to a mutual sort of agreement or a mutual kind of understanding about the issues that are in the space currently with people that don't know how to kind of build some games, trying to build up some games, people that don't understand the long-term metrics and how to actually monetize something, and then building it out. Because one of the questions that I always ask is, what's the business model? How is the project going to sustain itself? Because I was like, well, how are you going to do it without doing this? And the fact is, they want to be getting this to saturation to then turn on the monetization so it can really kick through. So it's stupid crazy what they're actually doing here. I think this is well worth a look at. I think this for a short-term flip might not necessarily hit because it doesn't have the hype yet. It may build up the hype, and I really hope it does. But I think this is for someone that can kind of read between the lines and understand that this is almost like a metaverse slash gaming play and less of a gaming NFT and just this typical play to earn, because they've got a bunch of different metrics. I suggest following them on Twitter, put on the notifications, and then really jumping in and having a look at stuff just like their PowerPoint presentation, just like their pitch deck, because they've got a lot of information and they've got a lot of tech and skills, especially when it comes down to the layer 2s. When I was talking to them, they were talking about, they were expecting questions about layer 2s and the technical aspects, and I wanted to get the top line level. I wanted to kind of get into the details because they've got all of the layer 2 stuff set up. They've got all of the staking and the kind of tokenomics set up. They've run this through. They've got some great people on their team that know exactly what to do and how to kind of do it. So I feel really confident. Now, the reason this is blurred out is because this information isn't sort of available yet. But this is where it is. It's very crazy, and I'm kind of excited about this project. So I know towards the end it got a little bit of waffly. I know I've lost a bunch of people. I know that people just wanted to be like, cool, is it going to 10x? Yes or no? But the idea that this is like more of a deeper dive and an explanation, like on a top line higher level, of why I think this project is good. So if you found value in this video, please consider hitting up that subscribe button, or while you're down there, also hit up the like button. As always, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.